This is, I'm Cheryl Lister. I am one of the transfer admissions advisors here. I would like to also have our student introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm from Saranac Lake, New York, and I'm a senior in the graphic design department.
Now, I was a transfer student, so we are going to be able to tap in and ask her some questions about her overall transition to Plattsburgh, in addition to talk to Zoe and then asking any questions that you may have of me. I am one of the application reviewers for all of our transfer students. We're going to do a presentation which is going to highlight academics, it's going to highlight the transferring of credit, student life. Be free to type in at any point in time to ask questions that are personal. There's two different ways in which you can do it. One's in a public format, one is more private format, and you will be able to answer any questions that you have about the transfer process to SUNY Plattsburgh. So without further ado, I am going to jump in. So we'll jump into talking specifically about the transfer process and academic and student life. We're going to talk about some fast facts first. So we were founded as Education College back in 1889. We have 36 buildings. We span about 300 acres here at Plattsburgh. And we have just under 5,400 undergraduate students, a little bit under 350 graduate students. What's going to make us very unique is the places that those individuals are coming from. We have 25 states represented and 65 countries. We actually have the second largest national student population of the comprehensive colleges within SUNY. Into that, you will find that while many individual programs are going to be accredited by the governing boards within that specific major, SUNY Plattsburgh as a whole is going to be accredited by the Middle States Association. So now to talk about our transfer students here at SUNY Plattsburgh, give an idea of transfer students at a glance. We have 22% of our transfer students are between the ages of 18 to 22, but what you'll also find is about almost 30% of our transfer students are going to be older than 23. So regardless of whether you are a freshman who is going to be going and starting their first semester at a 2 or another 4-year school and are looking to transfer to Plattsburgh, whether you have served within armed services and are looking to transfer some of your credit that you earned while in active service to Plattsburgh, or you were somebody who started at an institution and is transferring credit after taking some time off to raise a family. There are going to be a number of different students that are represented within all different age groups and different demographics within our transfer population. In terms of where our students are coming from, we have a variety of students that are coming from all over New York State, everywhere from Buffalo to Long Island to Central New York. And then we also have about 7.5% of our students are coming from out of state or are coming from another country. So our transfer population as a whole really does have a very strong diversity to it. There are a ton of people that are from all over and come from all different walks of life. Some of the programs that bring the most transfer students to us, we have our business program, our psychology program, criminal justice, computer science, and biology, all really strong draws to Plattsburgh for a number of different students. We have students that transfer from all of the different 60 majors and minors that we have here. So kind of come right up front, because I know that for many students, transferring credit is definitely an important part of the process. You've worked hard at your 2 or 4-year institution. You want to make sure that credit is going to come into the degree that you're looking to get here from Plattsburgh. So with that, you're going to find, in terms of the students that we transfer a maximum of 67 credits from 2-year institution and 84 credits from 4-year institutions. We're very transfer friendly. We transfer credit from any accrediting regional, nationally accredited institution. In addition to that, the courses that you may have taken at your 2 or 4-year college, we can also award additional credit. So we have students that taken college credit in high school, whether from another institution or from AP or CLEP examinations or IB credit. That credit can also transfer to us. And also students who have been in the military. Your joint military credit can also transfer in. With these different options, all we'll need is your official transcript from whatever in which you that credit transferred from. Especially when we're talking about credit, is the idea of really encouraging students, especially who are in a SUNY institution, to really focus on completing your SUNY general education requirements prior to enrollment at Plattsburgh, because it really can save you on some of the credit that you'll need to take here. If you complete the SUNY general education requirements, it would remove you from the general education series here at Plattsburgh, with the exception of our global issues course. So that I've kind of talked about the basis of credit, but I kind of want to bring it over to Zoe to talk about your experience with credit. Did your credits transfer, and how did that work?
I am a transfer student who have 2 previous schools. So I went from a private school, and then I went to an out-of-state public school. So I had credits ranging all over the board, and I think the easiest part for me coming here was that people were very transparent. I sat down with some people, and they went over exactly why my credits transferred for certain things and why other things didn't transfer, just because I transferred in my 3rd year of school. So I did have a few credits that didn't transfer. That being said, I'm very glad with what transferred, and I know why it transferred, and I know what it counts for. So the whole process was very easy. Here in admissions, they answered my questions. Still today, answers my questions about it all the time. There's definitely a lot of resources there to help you and tell you how it's all going to go down.
Right. And we're going to transition and kind of give you pretty much from the start to finish of the admissions process once a student has decided that they're looking to attend Plattsburgh. So one other thing in talking about credit that's important is talking about orientation. So those are going to be going on during June and July. It's a great opportunity for students to come onto campus to meet with their faculty and to register for courses. You'll meet with a person from your academic department and be able to register directly with them. So they'll make sure that they know exactly the courses that you need to be taking and can help you kind of map out what your next couple of semesters will look like. Additionally, you'll be able to meet with other students, take any placement examinations that you may need to do. So that is an option that is available to all transfer students that are coming in for the fall semester. With the spring semester, we don't have an official orientation session, but what students will do is contact their academic department directly. So they're able to go through that same process of registering for courses. They'll make sure that they're taking the classes that they need to. They will give you a registration pin in order to do that, and can answer any questions that you may have that come up along the way. And I was transferred in during the spring semester, correct?
I did, yep.
Okay, so you didn't go to orientation, but did you find that process was still easy for you?
So it was pretty easy. I actually emailed my advisor, and because my hometown is only about an hour away, I was physically able to come here to campus. Not everyone, I believe, has to do that, but for me, she invited me into her office, and I got to meet some other faculty members, and it was a really easy experience. I spent an hour with her that day. It all depends on how you want to do that.
As one orientation were to come, you have your classes selected, your courses have been transferred in. The next process would be opening weekend. So this is kind of where your journey with Plattsburgh would begin. So with that, the first process, obviously, in opening week would be to move in. So if you are a transfer student that is looking to actually live on campus, approximately 60% of our transfer students will live on campus for at least a semester. It's a good option for students to be able to meet other transfer students and other students that are, whether they're juniors or seniors or freshmen. It also allows for you to get access to seeing what are some of the options for different clubs and organizations that students may be part in. During that first week, what you would be doing is you may be meeting with your RA and your other floor mates. So even though you're a transfer student here at Plattsburgh, they really make an effort to make sure you're able to become adjusted to your floor and to meeting other individuals. When you're selecting your housing option, there are a number of different living styles that students can choose to take in here at Plattsburgh. So we have 12 different residence halls, 10 of which freshmen or transfers can choose to live in. We have 2 residence halls that are exclusive to upperclassmen. We have McDonough Hall and Harrington Hall. So there are definitely some options that a lot of transfer students like to choose, but most of them are going to be freshman to senior standing. There are high rises and low rises. There are suite style residence halls that students can choose to live in. Do their best to transfer students with transfer students, if at all possible, especially during the fall semester. There's a little bit more of that availability, but we'll still try to pair you with somebody that's of similar class standing if you're not able to match with a transfer student. With that opening week, you may also want to start to explore both off campus and on campus. There's a ton of different activities that are up for students who are interested in kind of exploring, getting to know other students, both in the residence halls, and then there are a lot of different clubs and organizations that will run different fun programming to get people out of their buildings and introduce the community. But off campus is a great option for students to kind of take and to explore. We have our Plattsburgh as a whole. It is kind of a city. It has all of your creature comforts. It has a mall, it has Target, it has a Walmart, Best Buy. We downtown, which is about a quarter of a mile from campus, which students get down to. It's got locally owned restaurants, locally owned shops that are very accessible to our students. And go out a little bit further. About an hour from us is going to be the Adirondack Mountains. So if you like to hike or to ski, that's a great location to become acquainted with. We also have the ability for students to go to Montreal, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from us. And then we also have the ability for students to go to Vermont, which is about from an hour to an hour and a half from us as well. So tons of different places to explore. And that opening weekend would also be a great time for students to actually be able to wrap up minute things. So if you have questions for financial residents, like the housing, you have those places too. Can you kind of talk about what move-in was like for you?
I moved in last spring semester, so I moved into a room where my roommate had already been there for a year. So I have to say it definitely could have gone very wrong very quickly. I have to say thanks to my resident assistant. He came the first day and he knocked on my door and he introduced himself. And then he had organized a whole bunch of students to then meet me here that night. So I got together that first night I was here with probably about 15 other students that lived with me that I got to get to know them. For me, a major part of my transition too was like exploring campus. So I really jumped right in with my clubs. I'm part of a whole bunch, and I just told them my story. Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm a transfer student. I'm looking to make friends. And I met a lot of friends that were either been here for 3 years already, or 2 of my best friends are actually transfer students as well. So there were a lot of different people really wanting to get to know me. My professors were also very helpful. My department, a lot of the students have been each other since the very beginning. So he introduced me to a lot of people, and it's been very helpful. It's really helpful.
So, and the next big step for you is going to be your first semester. So you're now going to start taking classes with us here at Plattsburgh. You're going to find this the first semester here. We make a real effort. You're going to go right into the SUNY Plattsburgh community. So for many transfer students, especially if you're coming in with an associate's degree or if you've taken several semesters of general education classes and some of your prerequisite courses, you're really going to start taking classes within your major right from the start. If you're a business student, you're going to take several business classes. If you're a student, you're going to get right into kind of the nitty-gritty of your art program. We really want students to kind of hit the ground running with that. For students who haven't completed their general education series, you may find that you're taking some of those general education classes as well. So they may be kind of mixed throughout your program. All of our classes and kind of just the overview of Plattsburgh as a whole We really try to stick with pretty small class sizes. So our average class size is 22 students. Our student-to-faculty ratio is 16:1. So it really allows for students to get to know their professors right from the start. We're kind of, regardless of whether you are in a major-specific class or a general education class, you're able to have real access to your professor. All of our classes are taught by faculty, so it's not a teaching assistant or a graduate assistant who is kind of bringing you through the coursework that you're taking. It's going to be the professor that is teaching the class that comes to school every day. We want you to hit the ground running and be successful. So because of that, we have really made sure that there are a lot of different support systems for students that are making that transition. Obviously, the fact that you have been going to school at another college for several semesters, you have the basic idea of how things work. Also, it is a little bit scary to completely transition into another institution where you're having to find those support systems. It's very easy. A professor within any of your classes is going to be a good start to that. So office hours in which they're required in their class, or they're in their actual throughout the week. So they're given to you right from the start of the semester, and you know those right up front. And then also email your professor. Many professors on this campus will actually give out their phone number. Students will text them. They can call them if there are questions that they have kind of throughout the process. Your advisor is also going to be a good step. So that's going to be somebody that's within our academic department. So that person can help you with selecting courses. If you come in as an undecided student, that would be our general academic advising office, would be able to assist you. If you have questions about the courses that you need to take for the next semester, or if you need an override into a class, or if you need a deviation for a specific course that you need to take, then they're there to assist you with that process. They can kind of give you information about where to go for specific things, can help you with looking at different internships that you may want to take, or help you if you're getting ready to go to grad school as well. Are also going to be a great place for students to get help that they may need. So you can there at any point in time, and that is where our tutoring program is located. So it's free for any student to get tutored here at Plattsburgh, kind of regardless of the course. There's over 150 classes that are tutored out of the Learning Center. So whether it is that you have questions on a specific homework assignment and want to come into some of our walk-in appointments, or if you know math is not your thing right from the start, actually sign up to meet once a week or once every other week with a math tutor. And that's a standing appointment. It happens every single week until you either don't need it anymore or until the class finishes. And the Learning Center works the other way as well. If you find that you excel at classes, you can actually apply to become a paid tutor. And then for any students who may have a physical or a learning disability, our student support services is a great place for students to go to and to make a connection with right from the start. Help students with figuring out any resources that they may need to be successful, whether that's extra testing time, whether that's alternative testing locations, as an audio or visual aid. They're there to make sure that you are supported throughout your time here. So can you kind of like what your first semester was like and kind of talk about some of the different resources that were available for you?
So I have to say I actually use all of these that are on your screen. So I do have a documented learning disability, and student support services helps me a great deal. I went to my first day I was here on campus, and I explained it all to them, and I had my paperwork, and to this day, when I see those faculty members in the hallway, they stop and talk to me. They really need to be successful because I am in kind of later in my education too. They really want to hit the ground running with that. Learning Center, I am an art student, so I still have to write a lot of papers, so I use their walk-in hours for writing often. So and they sit down and they go over my papers with me, whether it's for content or whether it's for like periods and all that kind of stuff. I have to say my advisor and my professors are a really great resource for me. One of my professors is actually an advisor as well, and he really about hands-on learning for us. So he is helping me get an internship. He's helped me apply for study abroad. We talk about all the time. It's a really personal relationship, which I like, and it seems that he has that personal relationship with almost every other student in the classroom. About that personal environment, I really, really like. They want you overall be getting a good education, not just in their class, but overall, whether he's helping me with his class or he can pick a minor as well. They're very accessible. They're very friendly. They want you to do well.
That's good. So, from your first semester, one of the things that some students may have the question of, especially there are going to be a handful of transfer students who are coming in undeclared. There are students that have less than 57 credits. If you're still not exactly sure what it is you want to do, you can actually still come undecided, take some courses, and kind of see what are some options that you may be able to take. But for students that have a declared major when they come in, on your screen is going to be the options that we have. So we have 60 different majors and minors, and those span a ton of different academic disciplines. Our arts and sciences, that's going to be everything from anthropology to biology. Within our communication sciences, there are going to be a ton of options for students. Other programs like criminal justice and psychology are definitely something that a lot of our students are drawn to, or some of our most popular programs. We have our and then within our education, health, and human services, that's going to be things like adolescence education, childhood education. We have our human development and family relations programs, things like nutrition, social work. Those are all options within EHHS. And then we have our School of Business and Economics. Now, this is internationally accredited by the AACSB, so that's kind of the gold standard for business programs. It's going to include everything from accounting to business administration, finance, supply management, and management or management information systems. So we do have a really large kind of pool of different majors that students can select from. What's great about the different majors that we have here is that within all of them, there's going to be a ton of hands-on experiences students can participate in. So whether it is an internship or whether it is direct hands-on experience as related to your major that's in class, the majors that we have are really going to allow you to not only kind of learn from textbook, but also to learn by doing. And knowing that you were an art major, so can you kind of talk about some of the things that you do kind of in the classroom that are hands-on, that are helping you?
I think this is definitely one of my favorite parts about being here, is that my classes, I feel like, are actually preparing me. So I took packaging and branding last semester, which is what I would like to do as a career. So I was able to do looks for a local beer company. So that was a real life company that we were able to interact with and every process that we would do in the real world. We also did projects to learn the equipment and the tools. They're always trying to apply it to something that's real. So whether it's making a poster for a club that's here on campus or making a whole brand book, it definitely is overall the concept, not just learning the numbers and the programs and all those kinds of things. So it really encourages us to do stuff outside of the classroom too. So my professor's last semester, he's very active in the museums here in Plattsburgh and in Burlington. So he was always inviting and encouraging us to work alongside him. When he would have his own art gallery in Burlington, he would offer spaces up to students and other members within the department. So that's really an actual experience. He was showing us that he was displaying his work. He was inviting us to do it alongside him.
Yeah. That's cool. Right. Obviously, the classes that you're going to be taking, that's an important part of your academic experience and an important part about choosing college. In addition to that, we want you to get involved outside of the classroom. It's a great meet other students, and also just to find new passions that you may have that are completely unrelated to your major, that can also still really do with kind of go throughout the 2 or the 4 years that you're going to have here. So in terms of getting involved, we have a ton of options. We have over 100 clubs and organizations, and those span everything from Greek life to academic-based clubs and societies to different social clubs. We have a ukulele club for students who have a burning desire to learn how to play. We have a hula hooping club. We have a zombie defense league, and a ton of things in between. Way to get involved would be potentially to get involved in different residence hall events or hall council. So with residence halls, our professional and student staff really make an effort to have a lot of different events that go on both in your building and then also within Plattsburgh as well, because they want you to get kind of acclimated to the community. So within residence halls, a resident assistant may have a movie night or a game night. Outside of the buildings, we've had resident assistants that have taken their students to the mountains to learn how to hike, and then have taken students to different downtown restaurants as well. So definitely an ability for you to get within living in the residence halls to be able to really connect with a ton of other people. Also is an option too. So every different residence hall has their own separate hall council, and so you can work with that group to kind of figure out different ways to get funding for your residence hall, to kind of take some of the things that may have as grievances to our student association, who are there to kind of divvy out different funds. They are in charge of all of the different clubs and organizations that are recognized, but they also take input from the different residence halls that we have on campus. And if none of those things interest you, but you still have other things that you have as passions, you can even start your own club. So it's pretty easy on campus, and our student association will help you through that process. I know that you are super involved on campus, so can you kind of give us some of the things that you're doing?
I definitely do a lot of different things here on campus. So I'm a part of the Environmental Action Committee here. I'm a part of PAVO, which is the Plattsburgh Association of Visual Arts. I'm also the secretary of the Ski Snowboard Club. Unofficially, I like to do things like I have to go to Platy Slack, which is our slacklining club here on campus. I recently went to Botany Club and I got to plant my own plants, which was very fun. We have the SA here on campus, which become a very important thing. So the SA is our student government. So the clubs and organizations are underneath them. So they distribute $1 million budget to us. Also help us along the way. So Ski Snowboard Club, we're a new club here on campus. We're only about 2.5 years old. Helped us start the club, and now they've helped us grow our budget to where we're able to take 32 students to learn how to ski. We're able to take trips to Vermont. We took a trip out this past winter. They really help us, and I have to say I've learned a lot through them. I've learned how to write a budget. I've learned how to organize hundreds of students. I've learned how to write contracts. Really fun experience too. I think it makes our campus what it is. People are excited to be doing what they're doing. So yeah, I'm dealing with money and I'm stressed out about contracts, but those are my best friends and we're doing something that we really like to do. Very passionate about their clubs and what they're doing, and they're excited to be here. There isn't a club ready. You're able to start it. So our size is kind of what I think, that there are so many different kids doing so many different things that you can get your feet wet in so many different elements. If you can think of it, you can probably find another 20 students that want to do it with you as well.
A lot of students like to become active with once they come to Plattsburgh, maybe cardinal sports. There are a number of different ways in which students can get involved in our sporting events. So some of you may be actively being recruited by one of our 17 Division III teams. So ability for some students who want to be student athletes to be able to participate in that. With the picture that's on your screen, you can definitely see hockey by far the most popular program that we have here. And I always kind of talk about that because that leads into talking about the Red Zone, which is our cheer squad for our different Division III teams. So if you love sports but you like that more spectator side of things, you have the ability to participate in the red zone. So they paint themselves all red, they bring cowbells, and really try to give our Cardinals the home court, home ice advantage, and they have been there for all three of the division or the national championships that ice hockey teams have won. So we are current national champs, and we've won national championships for the last years right on our home ice. So let me tell you, it was definitely an event and something for you if you're really into sports to come and see. It's definitely they keep the crowd going. If kind of being a Division III athlete is not kind of cards for you, but you want to stay active and you want to stay active within a specific sport, we do a ton of club and intramural sports. So it's very easy for you to participate. A lot of times they meet once a week or a couple of times a week, and are really pickup games. So it kind of can fit better into a schedule for a student that is super busy, but will still want to be able to make that connection to different sports. So they have everything from club rugby to intramural tennis and soccer. Also, if you're not really into actually participating in sports themselves, but you do want to stay active, we do have our Memorial Hall, which is where our fitness center is located. It's a state-of-the-art fitness center. We have a ton of different classes. There are personal trainers that are in there that may be able to assist you with really committing to getting in shape. We also have an Olympic-sized swimming pool and an indoor rock climbing wall. So things that can allow you to remain active kind of in whatever form that you are looking to have that fit into your schedule. Your first semester, your first year may look like, but we also want to kind of look at beyond that, what is next for you. So we're going to talk about some of the hands-on experiences that you can really build into your programs here at Plattsburgh to allow you to be successful once you leave Plattsburgh. You know, we definitely don't want to rush you into, graduation, but at the same time, especially since many of our students are coming in to their junior year when they're transferring to us, it's definitely something that I know is on many of your minds. So what some students may want to do is to add a major, a minor, or a second major. Now, there are a ton of different ways in which this can be done for students. There are some students that will do something that's very purposeful, something that's going to kind of add different utility to the major that they're going into, help them kind of transition into a specific career. Or there are students that just love whatever area it is that they're looking to do. So these are some of the examples of different major or minor pairings that can really look good together. One of the top one, marketing and art with graphic design is minor. It's helpful for many students who may want to go into the advertising field. It's going to give you those graphic design elements that are successful, that are going to help you be successful in that creation of different advertising materials, but can also give you the business backing of what's definitely important because within marketing it is a very sales-driven program. So it'll give you that business side, and then it also gives you the that actual useful art background as well. That students may want to go into that could be both purposeful, but also could just be for the love of it, with like expeditionary studies and English. So completely unrelated to one another. But for some students, they may decide that they want to go into expeditionary studies because they have a passion outdoor recreation, and also kind of pair that with, maybe sometime down the road, they want to start their own blog about the different expeditions that they've done. They might want to write for a travel magazine. That can be something that those two, while seeming unrelated, can really go together. Also, somebody that pairs English with any major may just love to write, and they may love it for the fact that they just want to stay active within it and may want to grow those skills, even if it's not something that they see themselves doing forever. One of the first things that you want to do when you are thinking about adding a major or a minor or a second major would be to talk to your advisor. It's a really important part because it helps you to map out your program to make sure that that's something that realistically you can complete in the timetable that you're looking to do it in. So they have to kind of do that before you get started, before you're in a semester or two, realize that it may be difficult for you to complete that in the time frame that you were expecting to. always an option that students can do, and you can definitely talk to your advisor or academic advising office throughout that process. Another very important to member transfer students is experiential learning, knowing that you have the ability to kind of test the waters to be able to build a resume is very important. So some examples of actually some of the practicums and class projects. So these are all things that students find right on their campus or very close to us. So one of the big things for students who are involved in our communications or journalism programs is being able to write for some of our student publications. So we do North, which is an online magazine that is kind of centered around travel writing, and then we have Cardinal Points, which is our student-run newspaper. So all students can get involved in that, but specific lot of our students that are involved in our English programs or journalism programs really like to write for that to give themselves something directly related to their field. For students that are interested in the sciences, we have our Lake Champlain Research Institution on campus. We actually have a DNA sequencer on campus, and so DNA coding research is something that some of our students have taken a part in. We actually have one of the largest skeleton collections in the world, and so all that has, some of that has moved off of our campus. We've still kept a lot of the specimens, and so many students are actively working at that to continually develop the DNA from those different specimens. So it's definitely something that you can do here. Also for students that are interested in our psychology programs, a good place that a lot of students find themselves, Traumatic Brain Injury Center. And so with that, students can work side by side with some of our clinicians, which actually they service the local population. So there's children who are part of the Traumatic Brain Injury Center. So you can see kind of what are some of the different delays that students may, that young children may be experiencing. We also have people who have traumatic brain injuries from our service or from car accidents. There is also students who are working with people who are part of the that are some of part of the Alzheimer's population. So those are all things that you can work with. I see on here, before we get going any further, we have a question about housing. So again, what is your question about housing? And we can kind of to go from there. We kind of briefly talked about it, but it is we have the 12 residence halls that we have. Students can come in random pairing, or if you have somebody that you have selected, then you have the ability to do that. So I'm going to move to the next section, but if you write in the specific questions that you have about housing, we can tie those in to the conversation. Finding an internship, kind of some goals of having a kind of experience right on our campus. I hope that that's going to allow you to go on and to land an internship within your field. So internships are kind of readily available for all different academic majors that we have on this campus. So those can be everything from within the town of Plattsburgh to as far away as IBM, KPMG. We've had students that have worked for MBA or have done the Walt Disney internship. So the biggest kind of piece of it that I typically have for students is to start early. If you know there's a specific place to go, start working with your academic advisor kind of right from the start to make sure that you have the ability to participate in as you go throughout your junior and into your senior year. So the question it is, what is the process of obtaining a single room? So pretty much what that, you want to work directly with our Residence Life and Housing Office. Singles are not guaranteed. For us, they are prioritized for medical singles. So a medical single is something, especially if you provide the right documentation, that is guaranteed to students. But you have to work with the academic advising or the housing office, and they'll tell you what is the documentation that they need. And there are other students that can opt into a single. You would want to work, again, directly with housing. There is additional costs that are associated with having a single room option. I don't know if you know anybody on campus that has a room option.
I do. One of my friends does have a single room. She is a last semester senior, and I think she just lucked out through the housing process. Her GPA is pretty high, and she was one of the first people that got to pick her housing. So she was able to obtain that. I know a lot of my friends don't. Singles have lived on campus for all 4 years at this point, and they, one good friend, she gets a random roommate every year, and she loves it. She gets to make new friends that way. She's introduced me to a lot of people that way too. So unless you're adamant about a single room, I know a lot of people that enjoy living in a double.
Yeah, that's definitely something that's a big factor for you. Speak directly back to our residence life and housing office. That would be the first start that I would encourage you to be able to figure out what that process looks like for you. Right. So internships and other hands-on experiences specifically with your major, there are a ton of other options that students can kind of look to in terms of becoming a leader on campus and having different experiences that are going to allow you to kind of set yourself above, to be able to have that feeling of managing a budget or working with other students project. So one of the ways in which students can do that is by becoming a part of their club executive board. If you have a club organization that you're a part of, you may decide that you want to run for treasurer or president of that club, and you kind of help to make some of the decisions, the kind of big level decisions in terms of how budget is spent within the club that you have. We also have a student association, so if once you've done that on a smaller scale with your specific club, you can go to our student association, which is much larger. So you can potentially be making decisions about the entire student population here at Plattsburgh. Also have the ability for students to do things if you really like to volunteer. We have Project Help. Students may also decide that they want to get an on-campus job. One of the job options would be to work for Residence Life and Housing, either as a community advocate or a resident assistant. In addition to being able to have a ton of options to meet other people on this campus and help other students with their transition to Plattsburgh, you can also save quite a money. It's a full room paid for, and then half of your board is paid for as well. But there are also a ton of other jobs on campus, everything from being secretaries in different offices, to working for the dining halls, or even working here on our admissions office as an admissions ambassador. We also have the ability for students to join Greek life. So if being in a sorority or fraternity is something that's really important to you, we have a ton of different Greek life associations for instance. And then also, if you're excelling in your program, you may be invited into one of our honor societies. So you've kind of talked some of your the things that you're involved in, but talk about those kind of, can you relate the things that you've learned in your different clubs and organizations into what you'll be doing here?
Yep. So I, again, am the secretary of our ski and snowboard club here, and we are a very new club. So last night, me and 5 other members of the club went in front of the executive board. So there was 5 members from the school as a board of students that got to decide how much money our club was going to be spent. We'll be able to spend next year. So that we had to break it down with the thing we were going to spend. So we have a big gym here on campus, and it's going to cost us about $1,300. So we had to tell them every single cent that was going to go into it. I think that has taught me how to organize things a lot. So it taught me a lot how to work on a team, and that might not always go my way. So I have this vision for this club and all these things that we as a club have decided we want to do. But I have to remember that there's 100 other clubs along with us that are trying to do similar things. So it's teaching me how to manage money. It's teaching me how to work on a team, and it's teaching me a lot about being professional. So we're not in a professional environment. That's a real life thing. That's helped me a lot. I know that I would get that in a classroom because you're in a classroom. So being handling real money and real people and real contracts, I think is going to definitely help me in the professional setting because I've already been there before. able to bring my graphic design work into it too. So I work with like the marketing club, and where we promote all our events, and other people on campus. So in the SI office particularly, we work with different students there to get our club known on campus and at different local mountains. So we're working with people on campus. Locals are a big part of our club. So Peak, which is right off the lake, Lake Champlain. We work with them a lot so that we're able to bring 20 students there for spring break. A real hands-on thing where they're a real live business and I'm a student and I need you to sign a contract and all of those kind of things. I think working in the real world is definitely super important.
All right, so we have questions. So one was, what would be a good internship for a psychology major? Great question. There are a ton of options. I talked about the Traumatic Brain Injury Center. That is a place that some students have done internships or have done observations. We also have a hospital that's directly across the street from us. We've had students that have volunteered and have worked in the hospital setting as well. We have students, we have a school psychology program at the master's level on our campus. So we have some students that actually have done internships or done observations working in schools and seeing what school psychologists do. So that would definitely be an option as well. So those are some of the ones that I can think of. There are plenty more. Some of our students, as opposed to doing a psychology internship, may pair as a biology minor or a second major with theory, and may do some specific research opportunities as well. So there are some students that are ultimately looking to go on to like master's degrees in like neurology. So some students will pair some of the sciences with their actual psychology degree to make sure that they're prepared for graduate school as well. The other question that we have is there a Jewish fraternity and a Hillel house? So we have an active Hillel on our campus. It's something that was new and has been developing over the last year. Currently we don't have a Jewish fraternity. Previously, Theta Beta Tau was on our campus, and they actually started the process of looking to come back to campus. So something for the future, they are looking to reinstate here on campus. So many students may decide that they want to, participate in internships and obviously become involved on campus. And many of those students also may want to kind of see the world, and start to, obviously have hands-on experiences here at Plattsburgh, but may also want to see what's beyond our campus as well. So it's a great way to do that. We have over 500 locations that students can participate in study abroad with. Because we are a part of the SUNY system, that opens up all of the different study abroad opportunities at any other SUNY school. Great about our study abroad office, they work with you. Even if the program is not facilitated through Plattsburgh, they will actually work with you to make sure that if you need to send information, visa information to a specific school, help you with sitting down and figuring out what that application process looks like for any unique study abroad option. So even though they may not be actually facilitating that, they'll help you kind of regardless of where the study abroad may be going through. Short and long-term options. So students can go for a week or for days. Students can go for a semester or even for a year. For a number of different options. And there are even some study abroad options that have internships built right into the program. So that is definitely something that if that's something of interest to you, you can experience. We have a national student exchange too. So that works very similarly to study abroad. The exception is as opposed to it being international locations, they are domestic locations. So students can study in California or Florida or Hawaii for a semester and have that credit transferred back to Plattsburgh. So if that is something, if there's a location that you see yourself moving to after you graduate, it's a really good option to be able to kind of test the water and see if that works for you and to be able to network in a completely different location. And one of only 4 SUNY schools that offers that option. We've got a question, another one about internships. I can see where you guys' minds are going, and that's great. What is a good time to start looking for an internship. And when we were on the slide, I think from this your journey here, as you're starting the classes that you're taking, as you're working with your academic advisor, really start to explore some of the options that are available to you. You can talk to your advisor, or you can do independent research on different internships that may be out there, especially within a specific field that you're looking to start. And it's never too early to start that process. You can work with our development center, you can work with advising, you can work with a professor in your class, you can work with other students on campus too. There are no students that have done a lot of really cool internships. So kind of picking the brains of, an upper level junior or a senior, where did you look? And you find something that, really interests you. How did you do that? What was the process that you went through? What was that interview process? Did you, what were things that you looked for with that?
I'm currently applying to internships right now. Actually, I think the first time I met with my advisor last spring, was about my career goals and like what I want to do when I graduate. So we spent a lot of time, almost every time I met him throughout the semester, talking about the internships I would get along the way, and specifically in art department, how I was going to build my portfolio to do that. So my education has been around that. Now he then sent me to the Career Center because of the logistics of all of it. So I'm working one-on-one with someone in the Career Development Center, and they're helping me write my cover letters, fill out all the paperwork, send things in on time, and just link me up with companies that I wouldn't know of. One of the biggest pieces of advice I got was to shoot high. So I never thought I would be working with Patagonia and Burton and all these big companies I've always kind of dreamed about being, and really pushing me to get those internships. They're pushing me to do the internships that I thought were unreachable for me, which is nice about my experience here with my professor and the Career Development Center. They're helping me through every step, and they're not giving me the information and telling me to do it myself. They understand that it's the first time I've been, that it's scary, and they're walking me. And there are also some people that are writing letters of recommendation for me. They're reviewing things to make sure things read well, helping me put my portfolio together, all those kinds of things.
Great. This was a nice kind of tie-in to talking about preparation, and specifically our Career Development Center. So did a great job touching on a lot of the points that we have in terms of the preparation. Resume and cover letter help. Also, we'll help students with mock interviewing. So if you have never done a big interview process for an internship or for your job as you're leaving, we can actually sit down with you and do that. They can work with you on different career research planning. They can also help you with looking at graduate schools and working with you to submit job applications. And then also, I talked about those students that may be coming to us that haven't decided on a major, or back and forth, or not exactly sure of where they can kind of see themselves. They can actually help you take part in some skills assessments. Strengths Quest would be the most popular, and this looks at not the things that what are the curriculum areas that I'm good at. I may be good at English, but is that ultimately what I see myself doing? These strengths assessments are going to look at the things that you're good at, kind of just specifically about content areas. They're going to look at how you process information, how you present yourself, how you communicate with others, and it looks at those different skills and can really kind of pinpoint some of the different career opportunities that may be best suited towards what you at, and then can also help you to identify a major based on that. Also, for students looking at doing internships or getting ready to go through job interview processes that don't have professional clothes or may not have the money for transportation, we also have some applied learning grants too. So you can work with the Development Center, and they can actually come up with funds to help you to maybe buy a nice outfit for you to actually be able to go to your interview in, or can help you with secure some funds to help you to actually get to that interview or that internship. which is great. It allows for students to look at different internships, different opportunities, both off campus and on campus. That's actually a hub for all the different part-time jobs that we have as well. So if you're looking to make some extra money while you're on campus, you can also search Cardinal Connect, or if you're looking to do an internship, it can also help you with looking at those as well. So different hands-on experiences with the prep, with our Career Development Center, with working with your academic advisors and the professors that you have on campus. The ultimate goal is to get to graduation. With graduation, it is both bittersweet. You know, it's very exciting. Going on to that next phase in your life, but it can also be a little bit scary. But know that the just clubs and organizations, the internships, the job preparation that you've completed here at Plattsburgh is going to allow you to go on to be successful. In terms of our overall population of students, 95% of our graduates hold a job or have gone to graduate school within 6 months of graduation. So know that if you're doing the process and working with the resources that you have on campus here, that can really kind of tie into making sure that you are successful upon leaving Plattsburgh as well. So I'm going to talk now about some of the requirements and scholarship information. I know that we have some questions about some of the different scholarships and grants that we have available to our students. So in terms of what we're typically looking for with scholarships, we are typically looking for about a 2.6 to a 3.4. That's about 50% of our transfer student population. What we're looking for in terms of application materials, we're obviously looking for the application. It's either the common application or the SUNY application. We don't have preference for the actual application that you apply with, but know that if you are graduating from another SUNY institution, if you're graduating with your associate from another SUNY school, if you apply the SUNY application, it can waive your application fee for up to 4 SUNY schools. So something to think about, especially if you know that you're going to be graduating, can save you a little bit of money. That application, we are going to need transcripts from all previous colleges. Now, these are any colleges that you have completed after you graduated from high school. So if you have some high school credit, that's something that we can look at in terms of giving you credit for it, but it's not something that we would need for the admissions process. So send any transcripts of any schools that you've enrolled in after you graduated from high school. We would also encourage one letter of recommendation, personal A. It's not required for most majors, but there are some in which that is a requirement for. And then we would also need your high school transcript or SAT or ACT scores if you have less than 24 completed college credits before in which you actually apply. So if you're falling at the top of these numbers, anywhere from a 3.0 to a 3.5, you may be eligible for some of our merit-based scholarships. So those include things like our Transfer Merit Scholarship, our Transfer Cardinal Grant. So students can receive anywhere from $500 to $3,000, depending on their GPA and their locations. So if you go onto our website, we do have a transfer scholarship. It's their scholarship matrix. So you can actually put in your information, put in your GPA, put in the institution that you are currently going to, and it can generate the package that you would expect to receive from us in terms of scholarships. And those are automatically considered. So it's not something that you have to apply for. That is something that at the point which you're accepted, about 10 days afterwards, is automatically mailed to you. So it's a pretty easy way to get some additional funds to be able to come to college. And then before, I think it's important to note too that 2.6 to a 3.4, that is, what we recommend. Know that for specific majors, there are potentially specific GPA requirements or some specific coursework that needs to be completed prior to actually being able to enroll into that degree program. So if you're interested, if your major has something that's specific, you can actually go right to our website. If you go to plattsburgh.edu, you can go right to the admissions tab of our admissions page, and it will break down the different requirements for specific majors. In general, for most majors, I would encourage anywhere from about a 2.3 to a 2.5 for best consideration for your program. Now, in terms, we are right now kind of at that preferred line for the fall semester. We typically like to see applications by around March 1st, but we are still accepting applications. So if you have not put in an application yet, have no fear, put it in. We'll still be able to review you. And then if students are looking for a future semester, into the spring semester, we would like to see your application by November 1st. But again, we operate on rolling admissions. We continue to accept applicants and to enroll students up until we have no spaces that are available. Another important factor that you want to make sure that you're getting in is to put in your FAFSA information. So we encourage students to put their FAFSA information really at any point now for the fall semester, and then usually by November 1st for the spring semester. And so for students, you just want to make sure if you've already submitted a FAFSA for the current school that you're at for the upcoming semester, just make sure that you log back in and that you put Plattsburgh student code or code in, then it will submit it to us. We will be able to make you a financial aid package after an acceptance is generated. And that pretty much 10 days after your acceptance has been generated, financial aid would then send you information about what package you may have been awarded. And the next big deadline would be the May 1st deadline, and that is seeing that you want to come to Plattsburgh in the specific major that you were accepted into. And that's really important for some of our more competitive programs, making sure that you've made that decision so that there's no chance that you're going to get locked out of the program that you initially came into. So May 1st for fall, and then December 1st for spring. Thing that we would encourage you to do is to stay connected with us. So we are very active on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It really gives you a good idea of what our students are up to, and we make them very student-focused. So we encourage you to kind of take a look at them and to continue the conversation with us there. We're very responsive on our social media platforms. So thank you guys so much for kind of sitting with Zoe and I for a little bit, asking us some questions. If there are any questions that you continue to have, feel free to contact our admissions office. We're open 30 to 4 every single day, Monday through Friday. So feel free to give us a call, send us an email, and we can answer questions for you. But before we leave, there is one more question that just popped up. It is, when will your room assignments be assigned? That would be after orientation for the fall semester, and then usually a couple of weeks before the semester starts during the spring semester. So can you kind of talk about how you were notified of your?
I was notified, I believe, by email, and then it gave me my roommate's email, so I was able to reach out to her via email, and then we found each other on Facebook and all those kinds of things. So it gave me enough time that I was able to contact my roommate before I was physically there.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. And again, if you have questions, kind of continue the conversation with us.